Hello and welcome to the CDR. This is the 7th round of this C1 category series. Tom Cairns in the commentary box, and I'll be giving you details for tonight's event. We appear to have 19 drivers taking part in this 3-part qualifying session anyway. 18 minutes for Q1, 15 minutes for Q2, and 12 minutes for Q3. And then we've got a 36-lap event here in Brazil. They'll be coming right up in about an hour's time. Just waiting for some drivers to make their way out onto the racetrack. And then qualifying will be very much underway. And we've got dry conditions, very cloudy overhead. Don't know if rain is on the horizon. So drivers just going through their setups. Just have a look at the championship standings. Mystic Joker, 57 points clear of Finn. And of course, don't forget, it's 40 points for a race win in this series. The top 15 drivers score points. I want to have a look to see what the actual point system is for this series. So it's 40 points for the win, 33 for second, 28 for third, 23 for fourth, 20 for fifth, right all the way down to, to 1 point for 15th. And we've got 2 points for the fastest lap as well. So that's something to take note of. We have got some reserve drivers being called in for tonight. Now, Williams, Jeremy and Finn were unavailable. So their seats will be filled by Davidek and Dean Phelan. Rebel Kalchuri is replaced with Penny Sauko. FRL Benz. Statistic King is in that. Alpha Tauri. Let's say that. Oh, the Alfa Romeo, sorry. That's that Redstone Derp. It's filled in for one of the full-time drivers. That is Roman's Republic. Yako Nagel is replaced at Haas for this round by Knight, who was in the Renault of last week. Yeah, that coming together also, that infamous coming together with Jinnit to win it, which saw Jinnit to win its place in the CDR terminated for good. Here's Razor, who is on a flying lap. It's a short lap round here is Interlagos, so plenty of opportunities for these drivers to complete the best lap possible. This is Q1, remember, so there's no need to push it too early if you're a driver who's going for pole position. The Razor is coming through the last turn of Yunsao. And he'll post the first time of the session. It's a 1 minute 8.2. The Rebel of Penny Sauko is next. 1 minute 8.0 for him. Nearly 2 tenths quicker. And Dean Phelan going to the top of the timing pages on a 1 minute 7.6, beaten to it by Eugene. And let's say that Jay Hartnell's crashed out on the exit after Desida Delago, which is after turn 4 and 5. So he'll be out of qualifying no matter what happens. So we've got 5 drivers who have posted lap times so far. Redstone Derp has posted a 1 minute 8.3. Here's the slowest of them all. Eugene is fastest on a 1 at 7.5. The Warrior going over the line to post a 1 minute 7.3. So who else is on a fast stop at the moment? Big Boss Bells is 1 minute 8.0. Knight next over. He says nothing validated actually, so we'll come away from him. We can start to see some rain falling actually. Thought it was rain. The driver's so desperate to get their laps in as soon as they can really. Knight going for another run in the Haas. So if I was to say what kind of lap time you'll be after in terms of getting into Q2, you need to be in the high 1 minute 7s. Well, Eugene, also Knight, is on a fast lap. So 51.2 in sector 2 for Knight. Rear wing open on the Haas driver. Or on the Haas car, I should say. And it'll be a 1 minute 7.9. Goes in front of Razor. We've got a Ferrari. The next one to cross over the line, that'll be Ben McCartney. Now, Ben McCartney, who we haven't seen in the CDR for quite some time, actually. This may be his first appearance this season. And, well, he's exceeded shut limits, actually, so he stays where he is at the bottom. Big Boss Bells in 3rd place right now, as Davidet goes up to 5th. Total P's fastest on a 1 at 6.8. Great lap time there for Total P, so he'll be one of the favourites to go for pole here. He didn't race last week, did Total P's. He'll hope to make up for lost time, but he did win the race before in Bahrain. Statistic King. And to improve, Knight will be coming back into the pits. And Sophie's just getting out of the way of other cars at the moment. Statistic King coming into the pits. Robbo just about keeping his car within the confinements of the racetrack, but Noodles has been given a 5-place grid penalty for his coming together with Total P's. I wonder what that's all about then. By the way, he's got his grid drop. Total P's will be hoping he hasn't got quite the same, probably hasn't. And Robbo completing the time lap there. It's not a very representative one though. So Ruin coming over the line, 1 minute 7.6, goes up to 4th temporarily with that lap before Knight was able to beat it. Here's Madtrav, who won last week's race in Austria. We've got just over 9 minutes to go in Q1. Medvedev looking to bag his place in Q2. We know that Jay Hartnell is already out of qualifying. Medvedev nearly losing it coming out of Yunsao. And Medvedev going up to second place on a 1 minute 6.9. We've got the AlphaTauri of Robbo crossing the line. Start another flying lap for him. Got Mystic Joker, who will be coming through. Suppose his first flying lap. It'll be a 1 minute 7.1 that puts him third. That should see him through. So Robbo goes into the drop zone in 16th. But his time is not very representative, so he's got an opportunity to improve that here. There's a Haas in front of him, who I think is far enough to stay out of the way. And here's Robbo, who comes through. 1 minute 3. 1 minute 6, 1 minute 7. It's 1 minute 8.4. Slowest the, well, let's say slowest the Molt. Statistic King was even slower than that. Statistic King drops into the drop zone in 16th. He is on a better lap here. Got cars just slowing at the moment. And here's Statistic King. 2/10 up from his previous best in sector 2. Not sure if he's going to find enough time to get out of the bottom 5, or the bottom 4 I should say. It's a 1 minute 8.5. He's lost time in the final set, so he stays 16th. Noodles and Ben McCartney started their latest runs. So Noodles and Statistic King has parked up actually. Now don't tell me he's actually binned it on the exit of where Pinheirino is. Noodles is coming over the line now. There'll be a 1 minute 7.6, 8 fastest for him. So Statistic King is out of qualifying. McCartney getting up to 15th place, so just the 2 places remain to determine. Redstone Derp gets out of the bottom 5, goes up to 15th on a 1 minute 8.0. So McCartney on the medium tyres will need to probably go again on the softs. So who will fall at the first hurdle here? We know that Jay Hunt and Statistic King will be. And Redstone Derp, I can imagine, will be coming back into the pits. DRS open on Razor's car in the Alfa Romeo. He's 300ths down from his previous best in sector 1. I wonder if we're starting to see rain make its way down. Not so yet, it seems. Razor is coming through. Set to 2 now. And it's a 51.2. 10th up from his previous best. And I think this is going to put him above Jaihu and Davidek. It's going to be a 1 minute 7.8. Puts him 12th fastest ahead of the Mercedes and the Williams. Robbo's latest lap has been invalidated, so he'll need to go again. Jaihu in the Mercedes, looking to improve from 13th. Now the driver at risk is Redstone Dirt, 1 minute 8.0. I did say earlier on a high 1 minute 7s where you ideally need to be at. Now Jaihu coming over the line now. 1 minute 7.8. No improvement for him. He stays in 13th. Now here's Robbo. He's nearly half a tenth down. And Robbo spins. He won't keep that lap. Oh, he's impeded Redstone Dirt there. I think Redstone Dirt may be on an out lap actually, so the AlphaTauri will just about get away with that. But Davidek is on a better lap than before in the Williams. This may put him up a few positions. It'll be a high 1 minute 7 this time. It's a 1 minute 7.5. He goes 6th. That books him his place into Q2. Here's Robbo. I think this is going to be his last chance to see him through. Likewise with McCartney. It looks though that Robbo's spun down at turn 1 at the centre ass. He has. So Robbo's qualifying session is pretty much over now. Has he sustained damage? I don't think he has, but with him losing as much time he is, I think that's his qualifying over, if I'm honest with you. McCartney's still in there though. He's still most certainly in the fight. Redstone Dirt is the driver at risk. McCartney coming through. 58.8. It's 50.8, I should say. Nearly 9 tenths up from his previous best he's set on the medium, so it's got a great chance actually to go into the top 5 here. Maybe top 3 if he's lucky. It'll be a 1 minute 7.3. Goes up to 5th at that time. That pushes Redstone Derp into the drop zone. Redstone Derp has just started his final flying lap actually, so he will complete this one. So 10th up from his previous best in set to 1. The driver at risk of going out of qualifying is Jaihu. Now Jaihu is also on a lap in the Mercedes. Just hope that doesn't hold Redstone Derp up too much. Robbo's out of qualifying, he won't be making it. So it's between Redstone Derp and Jaihu, who will join Robbo, Statistic King and Jay Hartnell on the sidelines at the end of Q1. Redstone Derp, a 10th up. Now Jaihu. In fact, if Jaihu and Redstone Derp go faster than they did so before, in fact, Jaihu's coming into the pits. Redstone Derp carries on. And he's not quicker than Jaihu. He did improve by nearly 0.2 of a second, but it's not enough to boot Jaihu out of qualifying. So Resto Dirt joins Robbo, Statistic King, and Jay Hartnell at the end of Q1. So here is the confirmation with Needles' good penalty. We'll come to that in a second. Resto Dirt, Robbo, Statistic King, and Jay Hartnell are out of qualifying. Needles getting that 5-place grid penalty for the collision with Table Peas during Q1. So wherever he qualifies, he will go back 5 places. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back. On to Q2 we go. We'll lose the next 5 slowest drivers. And this is a chance to see who will attempt to qualify on the mediums. And the first driver to make his way out onto the racetrack is the Warrior. And I wonder how many drivers are going to try and set lap times at these first few minutes, whilst others are waiting for gaps in the traffic to set their first time laps. Here's Warrior. The Warrior crossing over the line to begin his first time lap. He's on the soft compound, so we'll compare those on the mediums to find out soon enough whether the medium tyre will be quick enough for the likes of Table Peas, Jaihu and Madtrav trying to get through to Q3 with. Warrior coming through. It's in turn 12. He comes. And towards Yun Sao. We've got a long climb up the hill towards the start finish straight. And 1 minute 7.8 for him. Ferrari next up over the line, that's Eugene on a 1 minute 7.5. Jaihu third on the mediums on a 1 minute 8.1. Madtrav next for Haas, 1 minute 7.2 on the mediums. Brilliant lap time there for Madtrav. Will that see him through to Q3 with that time? Or will he have to go again? Razor next up for Alfa Romeo, second fastest for him on a 1 minute 7.5. Then it's Penny Salco in fourth on 1 minute 7.8 on the mediums. Oh, and someone's gone for a spin. It's the Warrior who breaks his front wing. And he's just got to be careful not to rejoin into the path of other drivers. He should be okay. And he is, he carries on. No harm done there. Here is Total Peas. He's on his way. Going through sector 2. It's a 50.9. It's 1 minute 7.2. That puts him second fastest behind Madtrev. Will that be good enough to get into Q3? He's got a good chance, I would say. Knight, who's had the latest lap time of his invalidated, needs to go again. He is on the medium compound. Mr. Joker also out on the medium compound for McLaren. He makes his way through Yunsao. He'll be the next driver to cross over the line. Rear wing open. And this time will be a 1 minute 7.4. Third fastest for him. Knight is next up for Haas. Be at a 1 minute 7.8. He goes behind Eugene actually, so I doubt that a 1 minute 7.8 on the mediums is going to be quick enough for him to get through as Dean Phelan moves out of the way of other drivers. There is Ruin in the McLaren, one of 6 drivers yet to post a lap time in this session. Turn 11 and then 12 for Ruin. He gets down to 13. So 50.9. Going through the last section of the lap. It's 1 minute 7.5. Ruin goes ahead of Knight and Penny Salco. And they'll surely prompt them to come into the pits to get soft tyres on. Mechanic is on soft tyres. Where's this going to put him with his lap? It's 1 minute 7.7, only 7th fastest for McCartney. And Niels has broken his front wing on his out lap. So that'll be him going back into the pits for a new nose. Eugene coming through. It's a 50.9, nearly 2/10 up from his previous best. Now, will this lap from Eugene put him in front of Mystic Joker? Well, the Warrior's been able to do so on his softs. And if he can do it, I'm sure Eugene can do so as well. And he does so. It's a 1 minute 7.3. Penny Salco's dropped into the bottom 5 Dean Phelan on the medium compound. It's coming over the line. This is probably a prep lap for him, so he'll go again. Jaihu in the Mercedes on his soft tyres. What is this lap going to be for him? So 51.0, a quarter of a second up from before. Razor going fastest on a 1 minute 7.0. I think Jaihu is looking to go ahead of Ruin on this occasion. He is. 1 minute 7.5 on the soft compound. That pushes, Dean Phelan's already in the drop zone. Davidek is making his way back out on circuit. And Dean Phelan pushing way too hard. I think he's going to need to come back into the pits to get some soft tyres on. But Davidek is carrying on. Starting a flying lap for himself now. Now Penny Sauco looking to improve on the mediums. And Sauco looking to go faster than he did so before. He's 800ths up from before. It would get him out of the bottom 5, but only just. Coming into the pits now. Jaihu also coming back in. Looking to complete his first time lap of Q2. And this is going to put him up to, well, only 12 so far on the medium compound, but I would say he needs to come back in to get a set of the soft compound on. Noodles is already there. He has got that 5-place grid penalty, which will be applied at the end of qualifying. He's only in the 16s for sector 1. It's a 16.7 for Noodles. Devitt coming through. He's not on a flying lap himself. So we go back to Noodles. Over 3 minutes remaining at the end of Q2. Bottom 5 we have Penny Sauco, Davidek, Dean Phelan, Noodles and Big Balls Bells. And it's 7.8 for Noodles. That keeps him in the bottom 5, but he does go ahead of his teammate. Dean Phelan starting his flying lap in the Williams. It's a 16.6 through sector 1. So far, so good. So 50.7 for Dean Phelan. He goes through sector 2. Right on board with him as he comes down to start finish straight. 1 minute 7.8 is what he needs to be. It's 1 minute 7.1, so he's safe enough, is Dean feeling, to get into Q3. That pushes Knight into the drop zone. I think someone else has improved a lot of time. That's Penny Sauko, who's improved in the Red Bull. So Ben McConney is back in the drop zone now. And he's just started what looks like his final flying lap. Knight is also out there in the Haas. And Mantrav going fastest on a 1 minute 6.7. There's only one driver who we know will be starting the mediums for the race, and that's Total Peas. Knight's improving by nearly 4 tenths in sector 2. This should elevate him out of the bottom 5. Not sure what McCartney is on as well. So Knight is out of the drop zone in 6th. McCartney crossing over the line. He goes up to 7th. So that pushes Jaihu and Ruin into the drop zone. But Jaihu is in the pits and he's out of qualifying. Ruin's not going to make it over the line, as neither is Noodles. Davidek is on a better lap in the Williams, but he's still on the mediums. He's still on the medium tyres, is Davidek. And he's a 10th down in sector 2, so the tyres beginning to fall away as Davidek continues to complete his lap. Big Bob Bells next up, and Mystic Joker is the one at risk now. So if Big Bob Bells' time is faster than 1 minute 7.4, Mystic Joker is out of qualifying. And Big Boss Bells does go up to 4th place, pushing Mystic Joker down, and Mystic Joker improves on a 1 minute 6.7, and he will make it through to Q3 on the soft tyres instead of the mediums as he intended to begin with. So we have our bottom 5 eliminated drivers. They are Penny Sauko, Jaiho, Ruin, Noodles and Davidek. Madtrav through to Q3 along with Mr. Joker and Razor. The only driver to make it through into Q3 on the mediums is Total Peas. So here's a confirmation of those who are eliminated. They are Penny Sauko, Jaiho, Ruin, Noodles and Davidek. And let's not forget, Noodles' 5th place group penalty for a collision with Total Peas has dropped him from 14th to 19th spot. We're back in a minute or two. We'll go to a break. Welcome back. Just want to say evening to Jack Taylor, who's joined us in the stream. Welcome, Jack. Good to have you joining us. Hope you are well today. Let me know what you've been up to as well. We're starting to see some drivers make their way out of the pits very early on. We can see a Racing Point, we can see a Mercedes, we can see a Ferrari making its way out as well. So who are the favourites going to go for pole position? I would say you're looking at Mystic Joker, Total Peas and Madtrav, the favourites to be going for pole in this session. got 5 drivers out on the circuit at the moment. The Warrior in picture, one of them. What is he going to produce on this lap here? Is he coming over the line now? You see the second Haas making his way out onto the track. The Warrior is crossing over the line now to begin a flying lap, which we hope to see him start within the top 5. Rear wing open on the racing point. It's a 16.7, it's not the quickest we've seen. What about Total P's behind? It's a 16.4. So the Warrior's got a lot of work to do in the second sector to make up as much time as possible. Got a kick of oversteer as he went up the hill. To turn 9 and 10 and 11. It's a 51 dead. Because with Total P's, it's a 50.2. So the Warrior absolutely, well, I say Warrior, Total P's absolutely flying on this first run. But here's the Warrior crossing over the line. It's going to be a 1 minute 7.6. Total P's crossing the line to go on 1 minute 6.5. Over a second faster than the Warrior. So that's the difference between Total P's time and the Warrior's. Now, who else is on a flying lap? Dean Phelan is on a lap that's not representative. So imagine he'll just go again. 1 minute 19.3 for him. We've got Knight next up, whose lap is invalidated. Oh, it's Madtrav who's next over the line. And he's over half a tenth away from Total P's provisional pole time. So it's advantage Total P's so far in Q3. Here's McCartney. He's just going around to complete his flying lap. Here's Knight, who's coming through. Up the hill. And this is going hopefully to be a legal lap time, and one that's close to where Dean Phelan is in third at least. It's a 52.4 in sector 2, so he's not going that quick throughout the whole lap, if I'm honest with you. Ben McCartney, 16.8 in sector 1. 51.3 in sector 2. And I think Ben McCartney is going to be at the lower end of the top 10, I would think, by the end of the session, given his pace so far. It's 1 minute 7.9. .8 for him. One minute 7.2. Goes 4 fastest with that. Fraser next up in the Alfa Romeo. Minute 7.6. Then Mr. Joker on a 50.6 in sector 2. I'd say he's going to end up third fastest, I would say, to Total P's and Madtrav. Can he get into the 1 minute 6s with this lap of his? The answer is yes. It's a 1 minute 6.8. 3/10 away from provisional pole for Mystic Joker. Now Razor, I believe, is on another flying lap. Razor coming through, nearly half a second up from his previous best time in sector 2. He could be going on to a 1 minute 6 here. So 5 minutes to go in Q3. Razor over the line for Alfa Romeo. It's a 1 minute 7.3. He's lost a little bit of time in the last sector. Well, he goes up to 6th with that time of his. Warriors' time has just been invalidated. He's on his next run. Knight coming through, sector 1. It's going to be in the 16s. And this time of his is 16.4 through sector 1. So Knight, I wouldn't say he's going to go for pole, but if he can get in the top 4 by the end of Q3, that'll be brilliant for him. Who turns 10 and 11, he comes. Nicely done through there, and this is 12. Comes through, and it's a 50.7. He takes a wide line through Yunsao, and up the hill. DRS open on the Haas. He's gone into the pits actually, so we'll start to see some drivers making their way out onto the racetrack. I think the Big Boss Bells, who's yet to post a time, is about to. There's Eugene. Dean Feeling has just started another flying lap of his, nearly 2/10 up from his previous best in sector 1. There is a runner in front of him, that's Big Balls Bells, who shouldn't be an issue. .6 in sector 2. So Dean Phelan, with the time that he is sets in, could go into a 1 minute 6 here. Has he got enough time and fuel to go around and get another lap completed? It's a 1 minute 6.9 for him, so he goes 4 fastest with that, a 10th away from Mystic Joker, but not a bad lap anyway for Phelan. Here's Eugene. He'll want to ideally be in the 50s. I don't think he's going to achieve that, to be honest with you. It's a 50.7 actually, so he could go in, I'll probably say in the 1 minute 7s, low 1 minute 7s. I just don't see him finding enough time to get into the 1 minute 6s like the top 4 have done. But we'll see. It's a 1 minute 7.0. So Eugene goes 5th with that. Warrior, not quicker than before. McCartney in 8th position at the moment, looking to improve. Knight's just begun his latest flying lap. Big Boss Bells has just done a flying lap of it, so it's 1 minute 11.4, but that's not representative. So we'll go back to McCartney. Nearly half a second up on his previous best in sector 2. So 1 minute 7.9, so it's a rather slow time, that one. So McCartney is just going to go inside a low 1 minute 7. It's good enough for him to go up to 6th with that time. Where is the Alfa Romeo of Razor? There he is. He's just coming into the pits now. So we'll go to Eugene, who will most certainly be coming into the pits, so he won't be going any quicker. Has the Warrior got enough time to get this lap in? It's quicker than before. Over a 10th quicker. It's on 1 minute 7.4. Knight crossing over the line for Haas. 1 minute 7.0. That puts him 5th ahead of Eugene. Big Bold Bells is next. Goes only 10th on a 1 minute 7.7. So really disappointing for him there. Mad Travis had his latest lap time invalidated, so he won't be going to pole. Mystic Joker right behind. What can you find on this last run? Only third fastest for him. So Total Peas, even with the latest lap of his invalidated, is on pole position for the Brazilian Grand Prix with Mad Trav alongside him. Then it's Mystic Joker and Dean Phelan on row 2, Knight and Eugene Phil row 3. Then it's McCartney, Razor, Warrior and Big Balls Bells making up the top 10. So Taylor Pease has qualified on pole position ahead of Madtrav alongside Mystic Joker and Dean Phelan on row 2 ahead of Knight and Eugene on row 3. McCartney, Razor, Warrior and Big Balls Bells making up the top 10. There's no drivers with grid penalties other than Noodles, who was knocked out in Q2. So the race will be coming up in a minute or so time. So a round to go for the Brazilian Grand Prix, round 7 of the C1 category in the CDR Championship. And just to remind you of the championship, Mystic Joker 57 points clear of Finn, who is not racing here tonight, and neither is Roman's Republic. So Madtrav has an opportunity to go up into second place should he finish on the podium. Table Pease will be making up for lost time. He did miss last week's event in Austria. Can he make up for it here this evening? About 30 seconds away from the beginning of the formation lap, so the drivers completing their race and fuel strategies before the start of the race. Well, the start of the formation lap gets underway. So 19 drivers begin their formation up now. Total P's, Penny Sauko, Jaihu, Devodek, Redstone Derp, all on the mediums. Robbo, Statistic King, and Jay Hartnell on the hards. Everyone else are on the soft compound. It's going to be an interesting one, this. There doesn't appear to be any rain hitting the circuit at the moment. So Total P's will be looking to take those mediums as far as they can before he decides to come in for a change of tyres. Total P's has already won one race in Bahrain. Can he make it two here this evening? He knows what he needs to do from pole position. Keep it clean, keep his car out of trouble, and he'll be absolutely fine from there. In a very short lap. We've got 36 laps to do around the Interlagos circuit in Sao Paulo, Brazil. The venue where it's decided so many Formula World Championships over the years. It won't decide the World Championship in the CDR today, but victory for Mystic Joker will take him a step closer to it. So Total P's on the grid now. The leaders are on the grid, just waiting for those last few competitors to slot into position, and this 36 lap Brazilian Grand Prix will get underway. You can see the 5 red lights coming on. Here we go. 5 red lights on. It's lights out, and away we go for the Brazilian Grand Prix. And Total P's getting off to a relatively good start, and Mystic Joker to the outside of him as they come into the Centre S. And Total P's stays in the lead. Mystic Joker out on the curbs. He's still in second place ahead of the Haas of Madtrav. So Mystic Joker's got the jump on the Haas driver. Got a spinner at the back. That's Davidek in the Williams has gone for a spin. But Mystic Joker has now been overtaken by Madtrav, who gets back up into second place. And Madtrav making up for lost time. And we've got a safety car already, probably for the damage involving Davidek and other drivers. And there's a 5-second time penalty being dished out to Dean Phelan for a collision with Eugene under the safety car. Now he's got damage to his front wing there. But either way, we do have a safety car. Now what will those who have started on the soft compound choose to do? Because we are going to be behind the safety car for at least a couple of laps. And who's made up the most ground out of all the drivers in position? Well, we'll find out in a minute, because there's a few drivers making their way into the pits. Ruin's one of them as well, actually. 4 drivers in the pits. Redstone Derp is in the pits. So looking at the field, Noodles has made up 8 places from his grid position, from 19th to 11th. So Total P's still out in front. Madtrav in second place ahead of Mystic Joker. Then it's Knight, Ben McCartney, Warrior, Razor, Penny Sauko, Big Balls Bells, and Jaihu in the top 10 at the moment. Here's Total Peas looking to keep hold of the lead that he's got at the moment. He'll want to stretch the life of those medium tyres as long as possible. He may be able to go on to a set of the soft tyres if he takes those medium tyres far enough, past half distance. Total Peas in the lead still. Madtrav in second. Mr. Joker will be thinking more about the championship at the moment. As it stands, Mr. Joker's lead in the title race would increase. Now Madtrav would move up into second place on 98 points. Mr. Joker will be lengthening his points total to 165. So it'll be a 67-point gap going into the next round of the championship. Although having said that, Total Peas with him leading, should he take the victory, will be on 100. So Total Peas would move up into second in the championship. Madtrav would move up to third. Finn would be fourth. And Roman's Republic in fifth. I'll say that because the point system for the CDR is different to what it is in real life Formula 1. The race winner would get 40 points. Second place driver would get 33. Third would get 28. Fourth would get 23. So Total Peas' points total would move up to 115. Mr. Joker would get 28 points in this race, which would put him on to 178. But the safety car is now in at the end of this lap, so Total Peas will pole clear whenever he decides to. And this race at Sao Paulo will be back underway, which it does now, and Total Peas is making his way clear. And Knight is under pressure from McCartney, goes to the outside into the centre S, and McCartney has to stop back in behind Knight. At least he gave him a bit of a scare. Noodles all over the back of the Mercedes of Jaihu. Now Noodles to the outside as they come into Cedar Delago. And puts his Rebel up into the top 10. And someone else has had a spin in sector 2. Not sure who that is. It's gone green now anyway. So, Total Peas still in front of Madtrav in second place, Mystic Joker third, Knight is fourth, Ben McCartney doing a great job in fifth place, Razor sixth, Penny Sauco seventh, Big Balls Pals eighth, Warrior ninth, and Noodles making his way up into the top 10 positions. Doing very well from the back of the grid. And Robbo has gone for a spin in the... Oh, someone's gone into the barrier. Well, I say he's gone into the barrier. Ruin's gone off at Yunsau and rejoins. And Dean Phelan has had a moment somewhere. He's had a really awful race so far in the Williams. He came in for front wing damage, which drops into the back of the field, and he hasn't made the best of recovery so far. There's no DRS for the first 2 laps of the restart. And I've got another driver in the walls. That's Redstone Derp, who has spun in the Alfa Romeo. He's got damage to the left-hand side, and he'll need to come back into the pits. And Dean Phelan's now got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Will he decide to call it quits? Yes, he will. And that's his race over. That's a shame for Dean Phelan after doing so well, qualifying 4th place on the grid. Not making it to the checker flag this time. And Ben McCartney's fallen down the order. And Ben McCartney, who's done so well to get himself up into 5th place, has now spun, has got front wing damage. He gets going again, but he's now been disqualified for basically driving the wrong way or driving illegally of some sort. It's caused him to be disqualified by the game itself. Very strange, I know. Got a battle there between the Red Bull and a Renault. Oh, and someone's had a moment. It's is that? I think that may be the Williams and Dean Phelan, who's just moving out of the way actually. So nothing to worry about. That was one of the leaders for a moment there. It's Table Piece is still in front of Madtrav. There's Noodles in 8th. And Redstone Derp into the pits for Alfa Romeo, going on to the hard tyres. And I would imagine he'll probably go to the end of the race, if I'm honest with you. He'll be praying for a safety car to rescue his race. So Table Peas come round to complete the 6th lap out of 36. Rear wing open. Madtrav on a 1:09.6, setting a new fast start there. One of the Ferraris has gone off. It's Eugene. So Eugene has crashed out at Yunsao, and we've got a virtual safety car. Now, what will that mean for those who just going past the pit lane now, actually? We may not see any drivers coming into the pits because the virtual safety car has been deployed at the wrong moment for the leaders who think about coming into the pits, but I think this virtual safety car is going to go before the drivers get round to the start-finish straight. It's gone now, so Tail Piece continuing to lead, but Eugene becomes the 3rd retirement from this race. Both of the Ferraris now out of the Brazilian Grand Prix. Madtrav doing the best he can to close in on Table Peas. Madtrav will have DRS to close in on the Mercedes in front. And Ruin. Oh, and Robbo's gone off at Yunsao this time. What was it with drivers going off at that particular part of the racetrack today? Madtrav in 2nd, behind Toggle Peas. Devedek going to the inside there of the Warrior. Can't quite make the move stick. Go back to the leaders. Madtrav in 2nd, behind Table Peas. Still no change at the moment, but there is the pit stops to come. Madtrav will be thinking about completing an undercut on Table Peas. But the only problem he's going to have is that Table Peas is likely to be on fresher tyres for the last stint of the race. Joker with a new fast start for McLaren. Rear wing open on the Haas of Madtrav. So they can't get close enough to have a go. And Sister King gets overtaken by Ruin. Falls down to 14th. It's not going to be too long before the leaders do come in for their only pit stops. We're expecting a one-stop strategy for the leaders in this race. Amazingly, no drivers have been given time penalties. Well, I say no time penalties so far. There's none at the moment. The only ones that were dished out were to Eugene and who's the other driver that got that penalty after a collision with him. It may have been Robbo or someone. But either way, there's no time penalties at the moment for any driver. And now we're on lap 10. And Jay Hartnell is out of the race. He's crashed out at Yunsao. Well, I was just going to say Jay Hartnell was having a quiet race so far, but he's actually gone off at Yunsao. And yeah, he's lost it. pushed him too hard, got on the dirty stuff. They put him in the wall, and he's out of the race. And the virtual safety car is deployed again for the second time. And Robbo going past the pit lane. So Jay Hunt will be becoming the 4th retirement of this race. I wonder how many more will be joining in on the sidelines later on. And when the map goes green, that indicates that we are racing again. And we are underway now. In fact, Taylor Pease has been given a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. That's really bad news for him. Now, will he decide to take it at the end of this lap? Or will he stay out for another couple of laps and then come in? He's deciding to come in now and get it out of the way. Probably the right thing to do, to be honest with you. This has cost him his race. So that puts Madchav into the lead with Mystic Joker second. How many more cars will go past Taylor Pease by the time he rejoins? And Taylor Pease rejoins in 11th place. Sunto gets a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. The Davidek gets past the Warrior as Taylor Pease rejoins after serving his drive-through. Taylor Pease getting past the Warrior into 10th. And won't be too long before he gets onto the rear of the Williams of Davidek. Davidek, another one of those drivers who started on the mediums. Coming through now. DRS open. I'll say he's using his ERS, his Taylor Pease. DRS is now open. And he'll pull to the inside. And that'll be him going up into P9. Mr. Joker all over the back of Madchav at the moment. And someone else has had a moment. It's one of the racing points. It's the Warrior down at the Center S who falls down to 13th place behind Statistic King. So another driver going for a spin. You can see the leaders are about to come up to lap the Alfa Romeo of Redstone Dirt. Mr. Joker using DRS now. Tries to get into the slipstream with the Haas in front. So they come into the Center S. Still no change for position. However, the McLaren will be back for more. And down towards Desida Delago. Those two will stay in first and second place. Let's have a look further behind. Penny Sauko doing a good race so far in the Red Bull. One of the reserve drivers for this evening. And Noodles as well, up from 19th to 7th. Joe, who's right behind him though. And there's Taylor Pease. He's closing on them gradually. The Warrior into the pits for a new nose. And that is surely his race compromise. Now, if he stays in the top 15, now there's only 15 drivers left in this race. He could potentially still get a couple of points out of this. Now here's Madchav. We're up behind that marker there. That's Redstone Dirt. I think he got into the slipstream of him, or got to within a second of him at the detection point. He was able to use the DRS. Mr. Joker all over the back of him. Now these drivers' tyres will start falling away now. I should expect. Mr. Joker using his DRS again. And we've got an incident sector 2. It's Robbo. And Robbo rejoins and gets going again without further incident. And whilst I say that, Penny Salco's brilliant race has now taken a turn for the worse because he's been given a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits too many times. And I suppose he's over 3 seconds clear of Noodles, who is in 7th, who Total P's right behind. The Warrior making his way back up to 13th place behind Robbo, who carries on with that damaged front wing. Mr. Joker all over the back of Madtrav now, as they come onto the start-finish straight to complete lap 14. Into the centre as they come. And then Noodles going into the pits to get rid of those soft tyres, and that allows Total Please through. Knight getting a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. Razor being passed by Big Balls Bells for 4th place now. So Big Balls Bells having a fine race at the moment. Now, when will Madtrav and Mystic Joker decide to come in? Now, this is a moment of truth, this now. I think Mr. Joker will be do whatever Madtrav doesn't do. And Mr. Joker decides to pit, unlike Madtrav, so he's going to try and go for an undercut here. Is the McLaren. Medium tyres will be out ready for him. Medium tyres going on the McLaren, and he's out on his way. Table piece has gone through. Does Jaiho get through as well? Yes, he does. Big Boss Bells is in the pit, so that allows Davidek to go up. Now, where will Mystic Joker rejoin? He should rejoin ahead of the Williams and Davidek, who's just coming around turn 3. And yep, so Mystic Joker stays in 7th. And on the pressure tyres, he can start thinking about going after the race leader, that is Madtrav. Now, when will Madtrav decide to pit? And it's got his teammate, who's another 5 seconds behind him, and with a time penalty. Now, Robbo's in the pits for AlphaTauri. So Madtrav pits a lap later. In fact, Knight is in the pits for Haas. So they are double stacking at Haas. So we go back to the battle for between him and Mystic Joker. Mystic Joker is coming through the centre S now. I think Madtrav may have the upper hand on this, you know. Oh, they're going to go side by side, I think, but I think Mystic Joker's got him. He has. Mystic Joker's got in front of Madtrav, and Mystic Joker gets ahead of him for effectively the race lead. So they're now in 4th and 5th place on the road. Now, I think Jaihu is going to have to do his teammate a favour and hold these guys up for as long as he can. Because Total Peace is now ahead of Mystic Joker and Madtrav, but he's still yet to stop. So Penny Salco is the new race leader. I could imagine he'll stay out there for another 5 or 6 laps before he decides to come into the pits. Redstone Derp is in the pits for Alfa Romeo. He's had a really, really wretched race. No, does he decide to carry on? No, he's out of the race. He's had enough. So he'll come away with no points. So P's a second behind Penny Salco. And Mr. Joker under pressure from Madtrav. Now both of them got by Jaihu for 3rd and 4th. Now, Madchap has, interestingly enough, gone onto the hard compound. Mr. Joker's gone onto the mediums. I'm a bit surprised that Madchap has gone onto the hard tyre. They've got an instant down at sector 1. That'll be for Redstone Derp, who's just pulling off after he's exited the pits. That won't bring out a virtual safety car or a safety car. The Total Piece is now right behind the Red Bull of Penny Sauco. And I think we're going to see a change of position here. Total Piece with DRS pulling alongside to the outside on the start-finish straight. And that's the Mercedes driver going back into the lead for the first time since serving that drive-through penalty. But he's got a lot of time to make up. He's got some clear track ahead of him now, so he's got an opportunity to pull away. Noodles gets the 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. Madchap using the DRS to try and stay in touch with Mystic Joker. Big Boss Bell's getting a 3-second time penalty as well in the Renault. So Total Piece has got an opportunity to use some clear track to pull out enough of a gap on Mystic Joker and Madchap. The only problem is, I think by the time he pits for the only scheduled stop, he would rejoin, I would say, round about where Noodles is in 12th. He's got to hope for a safety car, really, hasn't he? So we're now on lap 20. As Penny Sauco comes into the pits. This is Joker with a new fastest lap. It's a bit early to go on to the soft tyres, do you not think? By the way, he's out on his way. Moon's also in. So who's yet to stop in this race? The ones that are still running, there are still 4 drivers yet to pit. They are Total Peas, Jaiho, Davidek, and Statistic King. So Total Peas, his lead being narrowed down by Mystic Joker. He's looking to extend his lead in the championship with the way he's going about his business. And Total Please now getting a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits too many times. Fraser's going from bad to worse now. Razor getting ahead of Statistic King. They're going side by side into the Senna S. But Razor has the upper hand and gets his Alfa Romeo in front. Penny Sauco on the fresher tyres moves in front of Big Boss Bells into 7th. Taylor is doing very, very well in the Mercedes. And Taylor Peace does come in to get the soft tyres fitted on to his car. How quick will the Mercedes crew be with their job? Soft tyres going on and out on his way. And this will drop him, I think he'll maybe join ahead of that Red Bull actually, who's just coming down. That'll be Penny Sauco. So Tail Peace will rejoin in 5th place. I thought he crossed the white line, to be honest, but I think he got away with it. So Tail Peace on course for 5th position. He's carrying that time penalty, remember, so he needs to make up as much time and places as possible. Dovedeka came into the pits, rejoins in 12th behind Ruin. So only 2 drivers have yet to pit in this race now. They are Statistic King and Jaihu. I think Jaihu will be pitting in at the end of this lap, which will allow Table Piece to move off position. Big Balls Bell's also in. And Big Balls Bell's getting a 5-second time penalty now for exceeding the pit lane speed limit. And Big Balls Bells has in fact retired. So Big Balls Bell's deciding to go no further. So he's another driver to exit from this race. So Jaihu's stop leaves him in 11th place with 14 laps remaining. So Table P's under pressure from Penny Sauko, although he is over a second clear of him now on soft tyres. They've done 2 laps less than Sauko's. 3 seconds is the gap now between him and Knight. Table P's posting a new fastest lap, a 1 minute 8.2. Oh, and Jaihu spins. Jaihu has spun whilst trying to get past Ruin at the centre S. And he's losing time and probably a position to Warrior, actually. No, Jaihu doesn't lose any positions, but he's lost a lot of ground there. He joins in 11th place still. So Mr. Joker still leads, 2.5 seconds clear of Madtrav in second. Table P's making up time, making up for lost time. He was got an opportunity of using the DRS on the start-finish straight as he was within a second of that back marker. I think he's got an opportunity to use it again, you know. He does have the opportunity to use it again. So we'll make up ground. And Statistic King is now in the pits after doing so many laps on the hard tyres. He'll go onto the softs, and that should see him to the end of the race. He'll rejoin in 12th position. Table P's right behind Knight as they come down the start finish straight. Rear wing open. Table P's is going to go past. Knight didn't even fight that one, to be honest with you. Probably thinking about the rest of the race. So Table Please gets through and up into 3rd place now. He does have that time penalty of 3 seconds. He's got 9 seconds to make up on Madtrav. Ruin in ninth behind Noodles. Noodles' time penalty will drop him behind Ruin. Come through. Down the start finish straight. And Ruin used the DRS to his advantage in getting front. The answer is no. So he sits in behind. Sauko getting another 3 seconds of time penalty added for exceeding track limits. As it stands, that wouldn't drop him behind Razor. So Tailpiece crossing over the line to start lap 28. It's over 7 seconds behind Madtrav. And Ruin looking to try again on Noodles. We're going to see an overtake here. Not through the centre S. So Ruin's going to try all he can. He's got a 3 second time penalty now for exceeding track limits too many times. To the outside he goes on Noodles. And he puts his McLaren up into 8th place. So Table P's looking to continue making up ground on Madtrav. Don't know if he's going to have enough time to do so. Now, in regards to the championship, Mystic Joker would get 40 points for winning. Madtrav would move up to 2nd place in the... I say moves up to 2nd. It's actually Table Piece who'd go up to 2nd. From 75 points, he would add another 29 to his total. So it's 114. No, 104, sorry. 104 points for Table Piece. Mystic Joker would get 40 points from this, would put him on to 190. In fact, you get 2 points for fastest up, not 1. So Table Piece would move on to 105. So 85 points would be the gap between Mr. Joker and Table Peas. With Madtrav finishing 2nd, that would drop him... Well, that would move him up actually to 3rd place. 2nd place gets you 33. So he'll be on 113 in total. It's a healthy lead anyway for Mr. Joker as far as the championship is concerned. 77 points would be the gap as it stands going into the next round of the championship. Now, we do take a week break after this event before the CDR returns. Just trying to see which venue the championship will be contesting in a couple of weeks' time. It will be at Silverstone on the 11th of June. It all seems to be plain sailing for Mr. Joker. Just want to have a look at the penalties at the moment, because Sauko's 6 seconds worth would be irrelevant because Razor is 11 seconds behind him in 6th. And Noodles goes off at Yunsao. Now, are the conditions changing, I wonder? Because with Noodles going far wide like that, is the rain beginning to fall? I don't think there is. I'm sure that's not something which Noodles will want to be doing, and plus, that's allowing Jaihu to close in. Now, with Noodles' time penalty, would drop him behind Jaihu. Total P's in third place. And Sarko closing in on Knight. The thing is, even if he was to get in front of Knight, he would need to put out a 3-second margin on him in order to keep hold of fourth place. We've got 5 laps to go now. Mr. Joker 3 seconds in front over Madtrav. Now remember, Mr. Joker is on the mediums, Madtrav is on the hard, so imagine that Madtrav's tyres will be in better condition at this stage than Mystic Joker's. Moser getting his 3 seconds of time penalty. There's only now 3 drivers who are still running in this race who do not have time penalties to their name. They are Mystic Joker, Madtrav, and Jaihu. Now Jaihu, second behind Noodles. Jaihu looking to get past Noodles. He'll be ahead of him at the end of this race anyway, providing he does not make any mistakes. And now. So just 3 laps remaining here in Brazil. Mr. Joker leads by 2.8 seconds over Madtrav, who's in second. I'm just going to go back to the battle between Noodles and Jaihu, actually, who are battling over 10th position. We've got Statistic Inches coming to the pits for a set of the soft tyres, presumably to go for the fastest lap. So yeah, not long to go now in this race. We just see a move there from Jai, who's moved ahead of Noodles. That move was coming for quite some time. And Jaihu has got 4 seconds to make up on Ruin if he's to get ahead of him for 8. And then the only way that could change is if Ruin was to get another penalty. Madtrav's got the gap down slightly to 2.4 seconds between himself and Mystic Joker. So he is starting to wheel him in a little bit, albeit too late now, I'd reckon. Table P's in third place. He'll rue that error with the drive-through penalty. too eager to get the power down before the virtual safety car had actually ended. I lost him so much time through that. But we are coming up now to the last lap of this Brazilian Grand Prix. Madshaf 2.2 seconds off Mystic Joker. Noodles is in 10th place behind Jaiho. We've got instant sector 3, and Statistic King's retired. He's crashed out on the exit of Yunsao it was. And we shouldn't need a virtual safety car. Now, I'm not sure what happened to Statistic King there. Ooh. It's a very strange one there, to be honest with you. I wonder what the stewards will make of that. But this is now the last lap. Mystic Joker is on his way to complete the last lap of the race, with Madshaf 1.7 seconds behind him now. But he's done enough anyway, so Mystic Joker is going to return to winning ways in the CDR in the C1 category for his first victory since the third round of the season. Mystic Joker rounding the last few kings onto the pit straight, crosses the start-finish line to win the Brazilian Grand Prix by 1.8 seconds over Madshaf, who is second. Total Peas is third. He'll be gutted with that, to be honest with you. Then it's Knight in fourth place, ahead of Sauko, with Razor, Davidek, Ruin, Jaiho, Noodles, the Warrior, and Robbo completing the finishes. I think Statistic King will still get points, as he will be still classified as a finisher, as 13th place gets you 3 points anyhow. So at least Statistic King came away with something from this race, rather than nothing at all. But it's Mr. Joker who takes a giant step closer to taking the C1 title in the CDR. No problem whatsoever as the race goes, as the season goes on. So Mr. Joker is your winner at Interlagos in Brazil. A fantastic performance from him. He came close in qualifying third on the grid. Nearly got ahead of Madshaf at the start, but had to contend with second. He was able to undercut him in the pit stops and took advantage of Taylor Peace's drive-through penalty to maintain the lead for the second half of the race. And with the 40 points for the race win, he's leading the championship, looking ever so healthy. So your final classification then here in Brazil. Mr. Joker, your race winner with Madshaf in second place, Total Peace in third and getting the fastest start points. Knight is fourth ahead of Penny Sauko, Razor sixth, Deva second, Ruin 8th, Jaiho 9th, Noodles 10th, the Warrior 11th, Robbo 12th, and Sister King, despite crashing out in the closing stages, is 13th. Big Boss Bells didn't finish, neither did Redstone Dirt. Jay Hartnell was also out. Eugene, Ben McCartney, and Dean Phelan also retired. Doesn't seem to be any other penalties involved in here that I need to know about. But in regards to the championship, Mr. Joker's points table goes up to 190. And Madshaf's second place, 33 points that is, moves him on to 113, with Table Peas in third getting 30 points and moves on to 105. So the gap between Mystic Joker and Madshaf is now 77 points, which is nearly the equivalent of 2 race wins. The next round of the championship will be in 2 weeks' time because the CDR takes a mid-season break. We'll be back on the 11th of June, 8:30 PM British Summer Time, for the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the CDR returns.